billion in past due bills. $14.7 billion. Wow. Lawmakers had their sleeves rolled up, ready to go, and pretty much culminating 2 straight weeks of this, of special sessions that began ahead of the July 1st start of the fiscal year, and then approved the bill to raise taxes by 71 to 42 vote. So a plan to spend $36 billion in the fiscal year that began July 1st was okayed. 74 to 37 in override requires 71 votes. So 74 to 37, you got them. So today, Republicans and Democrats stood together, enacted a bipartisan balanced budget, and ended this destructive 736-day impasse, is what they're calling it. House Speaker Michael Maiden, a Chicago Democrat, said that the votes yesterday, he said, I want to thank you for all your perseverance through this unbelievable struggle. It turned out to be bigger struggle for 67 House Democrats than in the initial tax increase vote Sunday. Megan, who next year will become he might be the longest-serving state House Speaker of the nation's history, had to call upon previously reluctant Democrats to keep the veto override supermajority intact. So 15 Republicans voted yes on Sunday on the override vote. Thursday, only 10% their green button, and then Megan had to rely upon 4 of his own members who had voted against the tax hike on Sunday. And that override vote were critical for both sides, with the election for Governor Reuner already faces several Democrats that his opponents and much of the legislature in 2018. So there you go, Illinois. They've put it together for you. A little higher taxes. You're going to deal with it. But, man, what a deficit. And what a mess, but bipartisan. That was the only way, and let that be an example. If Illinois can tackle some of the biggest things there that were plaguing them for so long, maybe there's hope in Washington for health care. Yeah, but that just affects Illinois. That's true. This is the nation we're talking about here, but it's a nice example to see when important things matter. You gotta make tough choices, and sometimes rolling up your sleeves and doing the tough things is not easy, but you got to do them, and you got to tackle the problem. You can only sweep so many things under the carpet. It mounts and gets bigger and bigger, and then it starts annoying you. And there you go. So a missile strike on North Korea. Some people are kind of looking at this right now. Such commentator Robert Burns. He's saying that a preemptive military strike may be among the pretty severe things that President Donald Trump says he's considering for North Korea, but it's a step so fraught with risk that it ranks as among the unlikeliest options. This is his opinion. He says even so-called surgical strikes aimed at the North's partially hidden nuclear and missile force is unlikely to destroy the arsenal or stop its leader, Kim Jong-un, from swiftly retaliating with long-range artillery that could kill stunning numbers in South Korea within minutes. An all-out conflict then could ensue. And while Trump's Pentagon chief Jim Mattis says the U.S. would prevail, and he believes it would be a catastrophic war. As you know, folks, president in Poland, he's in Germany now, but he was in Poland just a day ago, and he said that the time has arrived to confront North Korea. Everything's on the table right now. Everything. This I think, has put us in a very precarious place. We have a buildup there in the peninsula. China's no help. The only thing that I see that would really make any sense, again, if there's going to be surgical strikes, it's going to be such a shock and awe. It would have to be very, very quick and very, very decisive and very, very strong. That's just me talking. I'm not a military analyst. I'm not Mattis. I'm not Mad Dog, but you'd have to use Mad Dog strategy to do that. And I'm thinking you got to get some people out of South Korea. I mean, transport planes, get people on those planes and start evacuating people there. I'm serious. If you anticipate that's what's going to happen, then that would be a smart move. To start just getting people out of there would be the prudent, okay? Let me just say that. I think it would be prudent. I think it would be a good thing. Who used prudent a lot? What president? Do you know what president used prudent a lot? That was H. Bush. Yeah, he liked to use that word. Yeah, all presidents kind of have their words. Yeah, Trump has his. Huge. It's huge. Yeah, I got to perfect his accent. Yeah, we'll work on that. I got Obama down, as many of you know, and I enjoy doing Obama very, very nicely. But he's, contemplating, these eventualities, these things that Trump is saying. But it's like, how much hot air is there? And then what was the UN Security Council? What was their big meeting? Was there anything that came out from this launch of the ICBM missile that pretty much prompted this emergency session at the UN? It's got a lot of other folks in the peninsula, such as Japan, talking about South Korea, talking about it. Folks in Alaska are pretty nervous because they feel like they're pretty much on the short list, at least close enough to be struck, and that's what they're saying, Alaska. But what about future launches? What about trajectories going aloof? What if that happens? There's all sorts of questioning going on, and questions are good. My prediction, and I've said this, it's still summertime here. I predicted it right from the 4th of July launch. Just kind of read the tea leaves here. This guy is going to do something stupid. I feel it. I feel the buildup. I don't know what it is. Something dumb. I think it's going to be more than one. And it's going to be very provocative, and it's going to require some striking. He's going to do something stupid, and it's going to cause some major, major issues. I think the guy's a lunatic. I think the guy's got a death wish. I think he's going to feel boxed in. And the reason China doesn't want to do it, for several reasons. They've already mentioned that they don't want to have the influx of immigrants coming in. They've even mentioned it. They've been vocal about it. They don't want it. They don't want hundreds of thousands, millions that would have to feed, clothe, house, put up. They don't want to do it. They want out of it. But they're not willing to do anything, and economically, they're the ones supplying them with weaponry, the emissions, food, energy, all of these things. And sending workers from North Korea over there to China to work for them, slave labor. Thank you very much. Did you know that? Because they're benefiting from it. What are they getting out of it? A lot of stuff they're getting out of it. Trump is going to have some serious issues. We're going to have issues with China. There's just no doubt about it. One thing with Russia, you got to pick your fights. Russia, they have a big arsenal of nukes. All right. And they're pointed at us. We got them pointed at each other. We are the largest arsenal. Okay. But we have the most capable, strongest military on the planet, the U.S. Bar none, we really do. But we don't want to get into a shooting match with Russia. It would be nice to be able to have an ally with Russia, to be able to have them on our side if we did combat and did put pressure. Can you imagine Russia, the United States, the United Kingdom, South Korea? Just a bunch of the neighboring, Japan, all set in point to put that maximum pressure. And then if China doesn't want to do it, we got the world governing bodies, the most biggest superpowers against them. What are you going to do? So hopefully there is some fruit that's produced at the G20 with all these important leaders and all these people patting each other on the back and talking about their countries and developing natures and or nations and what they can do to help each other economically and yada yada and militarily, et cetera, et cetera. They really look at these issues and really try. I really really hope that this is just not all a bunch of just theater. And some of it is, okay, because of the optics of what goes on with these summits. A lot of it's opticals. A lot of it's for the press. A lot of it's perception. But there's too many problems to not discuss some tangibles. So I just would have to imagine they're going to talk about some of the biggest fundamental issues like immigration, like Islamic fundamentalists. I don't know if they're going to call it that. Trump does. Radical jihad. We have a Muslim activist here in the United States calling for jihad against Trump right here. Oh, yeah. I'm not even kidding. Saw the video last night. It just was unbelievable here. She wants to impose Sharia law. Advocate Linda Sarsour, she's invoking Islam and jihad against Donald Trump at the 54th Annual Islamic Society of North America Convention this past weekend. And she's organizing a jihad against Donald Trump. And basically, Dana told the panel on Dana Today that she will not be a woman that's going to sit idly, or an organization that features convicted terrorists and calls for violence against others. Oh, Dana did. Okay. Good for her. She stood up. There was a commentator basically said that she did not want to be one of those women in an organization that features convicted terrorists and calls for violence against other women. No, you can go make a sandwich instead, Dana said. To see more for Dana, I guess it's the Blaze that broke this, Dana Live. Basically was talking about this jihad deal here. It's just a brief synopsis, but there's a video of Linda Sarsour invoking, again, the Quran against Donald Trump, and she's a Muslim political activist, and again, calling on jihad at the annual Islamic Society of North America, the convention this weekend. Where's the Secret Service? I mean, there's these like-minded people out there that, again, are evoking this hatred, and the jihad, obviously, is, kill the infidel, folks. Kill the infidel. If you're not Muslim, if you're not of that persuasion, then everything else is open season. And these people are able to hold these things on our soil. It's freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. But there's haters of America. They want Sharia law. They don't want to melt. They want to institute their laws. And what's really very, very disturbing about some of these people like her is that they're all for vaginal mutilation, taking young girls and mutilating their vaginas and all sorts of sick things, and pedophilia that goes on, and honor killings and all of that horrible stuff that just does not mesh in with a Western culture. And yes, I'm not afraid to say it, but we have predominantly, for years, many years, though there's the changing America, I realize this, have been a Christian nation. And there's a lot of Christians still in America. A lot of Christians. You don't even have to be a Christian. It's just you have values and you have a belief system and you have common sense. Okay? You don't even have to be religious. I don't like to be preachy. But you don't have to be religious. It's to have values. Okay? It's a shame that if you feel that way, where if you talk about being a conservative, oh, you must be one of those Christians. You must be one of those. Well, Jesus was a rebel. Went against the establishment because they thought they had it all under control. But they ended up killing the wrong guy. But anyway, I know I said I wasn't going to preach. But anyway, it's just the hypocrisy. The irony is just, it's terrible. But, not a surprise. By the way, this half hour brought to you by the app of apps. And if you don't have this app, then you're missing a lot, because what this app does that I have that is called 123 Ready TV. It allows you to be in command of all